All right. We're going to start off immediately in English, so I hope you'll tune in a second or so. Yeah, as you can see, the presentation which I've prepared for us today, it's not a presentation. There are a few things to follow that I would like us to simply to have in mind when it comes to this training. I call it a training. It's a training webinar. We can say. But what we are going to cover is mastering self-presentation in English. And this is the very first thing which we are going to do. I mean, this is the first and the only thing which we are going to do, but there are many details to come. But before we start off with the content, I want us to contract some rules, and so I'd like to ask you I'd like to make some requests to you. We're going to use English. I'm going to use English. If you'd like to engage in speaking, I will definitely ask you to engage in the chat form outside of the presentation. I'm going to give you some tasks as well. And please feel free to join us in the activities. Hopefully you will have this hour to focus on that. And you can easily ask me questions in the Q&A session. Not sure, I'm open to being asked questions in speaking rather than in writing, but as you wish, you could also chat us up here, and Anya is going to show it. I think you're going to show it on the screen immediately once it appears, so you can, or just, yeah, I think we'll wait until the end, yeah, so that the flow goes on. All right, without further ado, I'd like to ask to move to the very point of today's meeting. We've got Monday today, Monday evening. I'm very proud of you, honestly, because the topic is no easy. You know, talking about yourself is no easy thing, and definitely it is not. Striking the right balance between confidence and humility is even trickier. And doing it in English, I think, might be a very daunting idea. This is why this webinar is here for. Hi, I'm Przemysławem Fidziną, a certified business English trainer and founder of CoAction, where we help professionals and teams boost their communication in English, be it for daily work, conference stages, performances of different kinds, or meetings with prominent people such as Richard Branson and beyond. What you're going to leverage in this webinar from my experience of 17 years in training and plus 12, I think, in business, I hope I'll share some practical insights with you, and I'll definitely make it possible what's possible in 1 hour, of course, so that you get ready to present yourself with ease and confidence in any professional settings. Ready to start stressless when self-presenting yourself? Let's dive in then. All right. That was my actually self-presentation. We're going to go deeper into that and analyze it a bit so that you can also take something out of that later on. But before we move on to the agenda, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you just can easily do it later on, of course. Some of you have already connected, which I'm very, very glad of. What's the plan for today? The agenda is pretty simple. It's made of 5 points, and we're going to start off with something that helps you to establish the idea why self-presentations matter and why context, so adjusting your presentations, self-presentations, self-introductions to your audiences, so to people who you talk to, makes a lot of sense. Then on, we are going to craft your own self-presentations, go into the detail of the self-presentations which I've just recently made, and I will ask you to create some pieces of presentations yourselves so that you simply get some hands-on chance to work on that just in this hour. We're going to focus as well on positive framing, so how to present yourself in a positive manner, which is, but at the same time, how not to be very modest, too modest, but make the message strong. And this is a very important thing. Throughout the whole presentation, throughout the whole training, I'm going to give you some language tips and communication tips, how to frame self-presentations, but at the very end, as an kind of a summary, as a wrap-up of what we have covered, I'm going to give you some also some tips on how to mentor others, as I know this is the mentoring program, and I hope you'll get a chance to transfer this knowledge which you're going to have today onto your mentees. All right. A sip of water. Talking for the whole day. All right. So let's start off with the very first question, which is the fundamental question: when do self-presentations matter? If you could think of self-presentations, self-introductions in your contexts, at what kind of meetings or in what kind of situations do you actually present yourselves? Can you just give me some ideas in the chat? Would you like to share it with me? I'll double check the chat if I can see the chat. Any responses? This is the first moment I'd like you to engage. How do you self-present? Where do you self-present? Have you got a chance as part of the mentoring program to present yourselves to your mentees, to your fellow mentors? Anyone? Not really. You don't self-present yourselves.
I mean, there are comments on the chat, so.
Yeah, really. Sorry. You know, there's a lag. I think there's a lag. I've just seen 6 items now. Oh, I see. Thank you. My bad. Okay. So you're saying new job interviews, definitely. Client meetings makes sense. Yeah. First meeting with clients. Yeah. Networking events definitely makes sense. Job interviews again. Customer meetings. Yes, as you said. New clients, the first thing. User interview with users. So we've got here UX researchers, I can see. All right. Report presentations makes sense. Workshops, presentations, and conferences. All right, Mariana, thank you. Yeah. Onboarding other employees sounds as a very important part of many of yours. Yeah, most probably many of your responsibilities. Anything else? I think you've covered practically all. So very much of a detail here. What is important in this all contexts, it is to tailor your message to different audiences. We're going to, what does it mean to tailor? Of course, is to adjust what you want to say to what's interesting to the other person you're talking to or to the audience. So many people you're going to go and how you're going to get your message across to. And I'm not going to give you some theory here. I want you to simply make a short practice together with me, so that we immediately get going with this fact. All right, what do you think? You can again chat us all, have kiosk here. Which of this introduction, the very first one, I specialize in developing user-friendly interfaces that enhance customer satisfaction, which could streamline your company's online services. What context is this? Is it potential client? Let's say it's 1, technical team is 2, senior management is 3, and new team is 4. At least one answer, and then I'm moving on. All right, quick ones. Yes, very good. Yeah, it's a potential client's first meeting. Okay. How about this one? Sorry, I'll get back to the second one. How about this one? I have experience optimizing backend systems to improve data processing efficiency. All right. Definitely yes. All right. The funny thing is, I'm not sure now if I've shuffled it. So it might be too easy for you. Let's do it with the third one. We'll see. How about this one? Is there anything wrong, Anya? Yeah, would like to. No, it's all right. Yes, I haven't shuffled it, I think. Sorry. Too easy for you, but let's say it's the Monday vibe. Okay. By leading the redesign of our product services, users interfaces, we increased user engagement by 20%, contributing to a 15% rise in sales. Yeah, many digits, so senior managements are interested. Okay, and the last one is obviously the new team. But before we move on, I would like you to look at these introductions in more detail, and what makes these introductions tailored. What is the special thing that makes it tailored? Take a look, just think about it. We're not going to wait for the answers now. We have to move on, of course. There's not much time for that, but I want you to look at the very first example to analyze. When you say, I specialize in developing user-friendly interfaces that enhance customer satisfaction, of course, here you focus again on the benefits to customers, so customers of your client or customers of a customer. And the benefit would be streamlining company online services, but you look at the you look at the benefits of what your change or your task, your performance, your work can bring to the client. So focusing on the advantages, benefits your solution might bring is the first thing, which means tailoring your message. All right. Now, what I want us to focus on now is we're going to make a breakdown of my self-introduction from the very beginning. You know, I was a bit stressed as well. It's a normal thing, so most probably you might have noticed cracking voice and so on. But such things happen. This is a normal thing, even if you're prepared, even if you've made multiple presentations, multiple self-presentations, such things may happen. But anyway, it's good to be simply self-excusing. Self-accusing wouldn't be good. Crafting a compelling self-presentation and analyzing it in detail. Here, I'm going to ask you again to practice with me and to check out. We're going to dissect in sections the very first thing, which is the presentation, but I'm going to ask you to play with me a bit so that we name these sections of that self-presentation. All right, let me just switch to a Quizlet set. I'm a second, sorry. Okay. Yeah. No, not this one. It's always okay. The very first section, dear mentors, dear IT. I'm not sure even if I've said it, but I should have. What does it do? Which do you think? Again, I'll ask you to give me the answers. What do you think? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Is it about using inclusive language? Is it about using culturally appropriate metaphors, passive voice, or avoiding hate speech? Two, you're saying. Okay, anyone? Inclusive language. Yeah, it's kind of yes, it's something like this. It's more of an inclusive language where actually it's a call to action, of course, to call your attention to then what's coming next, but it's a sort of a way to use to show that you're all included. You're in a group where we're going to simply discuss one topic and we are going to be all involved. All right. What about this one? This is how I started off. Talking about yourself is no easy thing. What did I do here? 1, 2, 3, or 4? All right, so some different answers, but mostly exactly, yeah, opening with a problem to engage. Yes, I've opened it up with a problem. Talking about yourself is no easy thing. It definitely is not. And what's happened next was giving more details. But why did I do it? Why did I do it? Striking the right balance between confidence and humility seems even trickier. And doing it in English, especially with people you barely know, oh, that can feel downright daunting. What is this? All right. Any different bets? Then, yeah. That was about showing empathy. Showing empathy again, but also showing my awareness of your concerns. So if you think about your presentations, this is a good idea to show the form which I've made here. The form which I've made it in was A3. I'm not sure if you've noticed. There was the first sentence, and now we've got two sentences that make a threesome. And what's another rhetorical thing, rhetorical technique is there is a question. It's a rhetorical question you don't need to answer. And the emphatic structure that can feel, so referring to feelings rather than facts. Excellent. How about this one? What is this? But what if you had a few ready-made introductions and some simple rules to follow? That's exactly what this webinar is here for. Yeah, I've introduced a solution and I've provided some idea what this solution is going to bring. Here, is it humoristic to say I'm Przemysławem Fidziną, certified business English trainer and founder of CoAction, or is it something else? Some bets about use humor. Okay. I'm not sure if I see it connected well. Yes, I've transitioned to authority, so I've started building credibility. Why do you want to spend 1 hour with me today? And this was about establishing credibility for 100%. And all right, revealing some details. Why did I decide to reveal some details about what we do at CoAction? And why did I give you some examples of how we do it, like for what reasons we help? Or inclusive language, you're saying. All right, it's Comer, Z Comer, I think. Yeah, okay, you've changed your mind from 2 to 1. Sounds good, yeah. Yes, I've appealed actually to your aspirations as self-presentation learners, trainees, so that you think, all right, I can do it and daily work, maybe at the conference stage or before moving on, before stepping on the stage or meeting as such icons as Richard Branson or anyone else or similar, some spectacular personas from your areas of expertise. Definitely yes. What's about the next one? In this webinar, what I'm going to do is I'll share some insights from my 17 years of experience in training and over a decade running a business so that you can learn how to present yourself with ease in any professional context. It's not, yeah, it's not a call to action yet, unfortunately. And it's never it is, and never is it opening with a problem yet. Okay, this one is difficult, yeah. Yes, Kasia. Reassuring. I've just wanted to reassure concern, and I've tried to reassure that you are in the right place to at least slightly improve your self-presentations. Okay. That was the structure of that thing. At the very end, which is not included here, I'm not sure why, some things happened, but at the very end, I've asked you a question. I'm not sure if you remember that. Now we're going to get back to the presentation to show you that. Okay. Play from the current slide. Okay. Exactly. At the very end, I've asked you a question, ready to make self-introductions less stressful? Let's dive in. That was a call to action with a rhetorical question and a strong encouragement to take action. Let's dive in. Let's do it. Such self-presentations, if you'd like, you can have this recording, get back to it and so on. But this kind of a structure, this kind of structure for self-presentations is something that you can easily use, yourselves, especially when it comes to some webinars, podcasts, or any stage appearances where you want to first talk about the problem which you are addressing with your presentation and so on. Showing empathy to your users, to your users or audience. You can use these techniques immediately, and I encourage you. We don't have now time for that because I think figuring what the very first thing should be is to figure out what the real problem is, and then you could be ready simply to structure your presentation around that problem. This is why I warmly encourage you to take these bits, and whenever you need to get ready in the future for any sort of presentation, you can easily use this template. Problem, showing empathy, introducing the solution, transition to authorities, saying who you are, why you're the one credible to listen to, appealing to aspirations, so what your listeners want to achieve, and reassuring their concerns at the very end, so that they again feel warm with you, feel attracted to listen to you, and calling to action. So, and then you can start moving on to the very core of your presentation or self-introduction. All right. I'll double check what's going on in the chat, if there's anything to follow. If not, really. Okay, we're on it. I'm on it. Okay. Let's go deeper into details. Now, I want us to focus on the very first, on this third, anyway, whichever moment it was, but on the agenda. But I want to teach you now how to positively frame your self-introductions without coming across as if you were bragging, as if you were self-promoting yourselves. This is a very common issue, in fact, especially with introverts. Some people say with women, but I'm not sure if it's related to sex in any way. I think it's more of a thing that we, even in Polish people, I think, we have this tendency that we don't like. We think that when highlighting our achievements, we can come off as bragging, as self-promotional, self-praising. But I want to show you a few examples in which this could be treated as bragging, but how we could transform it into something that is acceptable and at the same time that highlights your achievements and shares as well. This is the first one, how you can highlight your achievements without bragging, and how you can share challenges and the lessons learned, you've overcome some, struggles and so on, and you want to show to someone, for example, in a job interview or in any other setting, could be a team meeting, how you've overcome some struggle and what the results are. Throughout that, I'm going to show you also and focus your attention on how to use the inclusive language. So also focusing on the common effort, for example, if your team or your specific teammate or your company in overcoming the challenges or achieving something that you have actually achieved. Okay. Highlighting achievements with humility. Look at this sentence. How does it sound to you? Does it sound to you okay? Or does it sound to you a bit braggy, boastful? You can write me. Is it okay or not, really? All right. You're saying it's okay. All right. In general, it is okay. Not bragging, facts. Facts, you're saying, okay? This is not clear and concise. Thank you very much. Yeah, sure. It is. It is definitely clear. I want to show you, for some people, I've seen this example actually, and for some people, it may seem bragging, surprisingly. When they want to talk about achievements, I've heard multiple times also in my training experience where people don't want to talk about percentages. They want to talk about what I did immediately. They'd rather say something softer. And there are ways. It's not a very strong bragging version. It is something that can be treated by some nations as well as something too direct. But why would this be a better improved version? What makes it a better improved version? In what sense? Maybe you could give me, I can see you're getting engaged in the chat, so you can tell me what makes this different, and why could it be treated as something more of a, highlighting achievement rather than boastful. Okay, let's give you the idea. What happens here linguistically is, instead of saying I led a project, you could say I had the opportunity to lead. In English, this phrase is a sort of this phrase actually is a phrase which softens the mood. It can give you an idea. It can give the other person an idea that this was something as some sort of chance for you, and you took advantage of that, of course. But what makes it kind of what makes you proud as well, in the very last part of the sentence, is that you reference to how your team navigated the challenge. So also referring and including the team's effort in achieving, exactly, it shows some team effort as well. Excellent point. Yeah, Jonna. All right, there will be more examples, hopefully more striking. Look at this example. How does it sound to you? Is it right? Is it too bragging? Getting multiple stakeholders on the same page was a challenge, but in the end, I managed to align them and move the project forward. Again, okay. Magda says it's bragging. You see, I wanted to check your, let's say, Mentimeter, how you feel about such sentences, because I think when you're in a stressful situations, it's easier when you look at it. But when you want to stand out in front of the crowd and you want to say what you've just recently achieved with a little bragging, you're saying. Stakeholders are shown here as stubborn. Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's if it's bad or good, but if it gives some idea of what the challenge was. Okay, it may sound a bit bragging, as you said, some of you have said. But what makes this in an improved version then? Let's think about this one. One of the biggest challenges was aligning multiple stakeholders with different priorities. How does it sound to you versus getting multiple stakeholders on the same page was a challenge? First, what you notice most probably is more words. Yeah, if more words, I always say that more words are not necessary in many contexts. But when you want to soften your idea, when you want to soften talking about the challenge which you've had in the project, exactly, then adding some context, showing that the stakeholders are shown as partners rather than obstacles, sounds more of a fairer view, yeah? So Patricia says it focuses on what we did together instead of what only I did. Exactly. And it's a perfect phrase here. You can use it easily through open discussions and collaboration, through some techniques, through workshops, through some, mitigation sessions and so on. We found common ground, showing what you've. This kind of shows as well what you've gone through, what you've. It was a struggle, but you've made it, which you've ultimately led to the project success. And showing this definitely highlights your contribution to the project. All right, one more example. Again, what do you think? I played a key role in launching the new feature ahead of schedule. I think this, what do you think? Too vague. Yes, I feel so as well. A key role, what does it mean, yeah? But bragging or not? Yes, Zuza says, and Magda says as well. Most probably you think as well, because it's a pretty striking example. Look at the improved version. What makes it improved, actually? What makes it improved? Would you care to share your idea? Okay, I'll tell you. You focus on what we did, yeah. So you include. It's again some inclusive language. We launched the new feature ahead of schedule thanks to great coordination across teams. So you show, yes, we instead of me. This is the first thing, and then you say thanks to what? Great coordination across teams. And if you were self-introducing yourselves and giving the idea in the first sentence, let's say when self-introducing yourselves, you could say, I'm a team leader in a team, and we had some situations like that, but thanks to great coordination, so of course people acknowledge that it was you. Of course you can repeat it and so on and so forth, that it was you involved in that project, but definitely it is all right and it's good enough. All right. Well, let me just double check we are in the middle. Oh, and it's kind of good, I think. I want you to take 3 minutes now. If possible, maybe some of you could share in the meeting chat your structures, or if anyone wants to, Anya, could we give voice to someone if anyone wants to share this? Yeah, all right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, so if anyone wants to share, I want you to build your own short story where you've overcome some challenge and it was a team effort, and where you could actually using softeners or giving some context on the process of overcoming the difficulty, you could sound as if you were highlighting your achievements, but at the same time, you don't come across ostentatious. Of course, inclusive language like we, the team, the company, as a collaborative effort is welcome. I'll give you, please take this time to simply use it, and you can write it down as well, or you could just shut up. If anyone is ready, just write in the chat and or request voice, and we can listen to you as well. Let's give it 2 minutes to get ready. Yeah, take your time. Oh, geez, sorry. Yeah, bear it in mind, bear the structure in mind. All right. Does any one of you like to speak up or copy paste it into chat? It's not going to be treated as bragging, remember. We know we are learning how to do it. All right, I understand. You don't want to share your insights, not now. We don't know each other that much. And that's fine. That's fine. You're going to have more opportunities to speak up if you want to in the next part, which is after we are almost after a half of the presentation of the webinar. All right. Another thing, which is crucial. Sounding confident yet approachable with the use of power phrases rather than humble qualifiers. Here we're going to actually focus on something that some of you have pointed out in the previous exercise as okay, but all right. I want to show you at the very beginning. I want to show you a few humble qualifiers and what they mean, and why they are humble, why they are soft, I would say, and how can we make them stronger? How can we make them sound? How can we make you sound more confident? The very first one is here. I think this approach might work. Although in British English, this is the funny thing, because we need to take into account as well the perspective of who we are talking to in terms of the culture. Because for the British people, this is alrightish. I mean, I think this approach might work if you're not hesitant. But of course, then you'd have to give the details why. But the British people very much like to soften what they want to give their opinion on. The Americans the other way around. But look at this version as an alternative to that. So a power phrase. This approach is effective because, and then you give the details. You see, immediately you move on from saying what it is like. So you say it's effective. You're 100%. You show you name the things as they are. And here we need more adjectives. In English, for example, you have plenty of adjectives to show that you define something as and give a specific word for it. What else happens here is that you immediately give reasons. This sentence would be much more powerful because you give reasons immediately. This approach is effective because this happens, that happens, and so forth. All right, let's look at the next example. I'm not an expert, or I'm no expert, some people say, but maybe we could try this. Many people in professional context say, I'm not an expert, but maybe we could try this. Alternatively, of course, if you're no expert, you shouldn't say you're an expert. Alternatively, you could say that based on my experience, Because if you want to speak up on the topic, you most probably have got some experience or got some premonition at least about if it's going to work or not. And then you say in a very strong way, instead of we could try this, I recommend we try this. I've got here some anecdotes. I don't remember the company name, but when some people were giving some ideas on how they can do it, what was the nation? I'm not sure, but one of the which doesn't accept, saying something like we try this and so on, of course, and so on. We could make it even stronger by saying, based on my experience, I recommend doing this and that, instead of we recommend we try this. Of course, it's a kind of the next step from I'm no expert, but maybe we could try this. You can even make it stronger. And such things happen that, in professional context, people simply use try to very much, but it doesn't build confidence in the other party, that you're going to deliver. It's good to bear it in mind simply. Okay, look at the next example. Sorry if I misunderstood, but I believe this is the right direction. Saying sorry at the very immediate point of your opinion doesn't sound very strong, does it? To clarify, this is a very short phrase, very powerful, potent. Then you can say, to clarify, this is the right direction. This is the right direction because, and then you give the details. Again, this form is pretty neat and strikes right, Look, okay, I've just given you the, okay, let's compare it. We just made a small update to improve performance. Why small? We introduced an update and that significantly improves performance. Of course, if the update was small, you can say it was minor in any other word. But if it was not the case, it wasn't, it's not very important that the update was small, but, some small tweaks in user experience bring ultimate results to huge platforms. Such things could boost a lot of things, boost a lot of metrics as well. All right, and the last one. Would it be okay if I shared my opinion? How do you feel about that? Maybe the last one with the question to you. Is it okay? Do you use it like that? Come on. Do you say such a thing? Like, would it be okay if I shared my opinion? Not really. Okay. All right, strong opinions here. Strong. Your mentors. Maybe maybe it doesn't concern you. Your mentors, you know what to say, you know what to do. Yeah. I think that this could happen if you were talking to someone senior to you in an organization or a client who stresses you out just because they have just come from the Silicon Valley, starting up another venture and so on. Yeah. Alternatively, you could say, I'd like to share a perspective on this, my opinion, so on. It would go. I'd like to, all right, yeah. Right, yeah. On, spot on, Agata. Thank you. Okay, dokie. Wait a second, did I have anything here? Oh, how much time do we have now? Okay, 15 minutes around about. Teaching at an event, this is what I promised to you in the LinkedIn posts and in the invitations. I was because on such things I've delivered already some only 1 hour webinar on pitching itself, and it doesn't take much time. It takes much time to practice it, but I want to show you some template how you can pitch effectively at an event, of course, in the context of working at one or the other company. I want you to look at one example. Maybe we could have a look at some, let's say the middle one, saying, "I'm Sarah from Smart Data Solutions. We help telcos enterprises effectively analyze and use their customer data to what? To drive repeat sales. What does this pitch mean? I mean, it's, you know what pitch means, yeah? It's like more of an elevator pitch rather than a pitching, some service or product. It takes less, I think, than 30 seconds to say so. In a conference, it's all right. It's definitely all right. Why is it simple? Why is it effective? Because Sarah says immediately who she is, from which company, what she helps companies with, what she does as part of her job simply, and what results it brings. And the very end. I will give you now one more opportunity to craft your own pitch. You can pick any out of here. Again, maybe you could do it ad hoc and speak up. I'll give you 1 minute to look at that. You can also, of course, write it down if you want to. But if anyone is ready, you can speak up and simply say your pitch now. I'll give you now 30 seconds to get ready, maybe 1 minute. And if anyone is ready, ask for us to speak up, yeah. Anyone? You've got a chance to practice. Come on. Takes some time, yeah, I know. You would definitely make it if you had more time to get ready for that. I'm 100% sure. But you're going to have this presentation ready, I think. I'm going to share it with you, most probably, if you would like, of course. And you can have it as an effective template for the next one, before the next meeting, before the next presentation or an event. Okie dokie. Context. We talked about the context at the very beginning, that in different contexts you have to tailor your communication. And now I'm going to give you something that is effective and that is very much it comes handy when you're in team meetings or interviews of any kinds with clients, with potential employers. And this is a technique where you structure your story around the past experiences, achievements, or past beginnings of your career, present, so what you are currently on, and future. And I want you to look at this template. Let's say again, how and why it matters to structure your story around the past, because past shows and establishes some sort of foundation of where you come from and builds credibility, as I did in the very first minutes of the presentation. What makes what present was referring to what your current strengths and contributions are. What it makes is that you show your strengths and contributions in the context of the past, but also you show what your scope of responsibilities is. And the future shows your ambitions, demonstrates a forward-thinking mindset as well. All right. Of course, when it comes to English, so I wanted to give you some language tips across, and I'm going to give it you now a few. Of course, when you talk about the past, you have to stick to the past tenses. I kicked off my career as a working on scalable systems and so on. For whom? For what reason? One of the projects I'm most proud of was. So you show some project, and what did it help? Oh, which it significantly improved customer experience. This is when talking about the past. Present. Right now, I lead a cross-functional team at some company, and what we do is develop AI solutions that help, again, do something. What do we do? What do you do? I spend a lot of time collaborating with stakeholders, so you show your responsibilities. And then at the very end, you say, I'm really excited about how AI technologies can help our clients. So here you show your forward thinking. And you say, my goal is to keep driving innovation by helping our team grow. Some people would say it's blah, 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 but it's when it's out of context, it's very difficult to make it sound, credible, let's say. Thank you, Agata. Yeah, cheers. But you can easily switch. You can switch on your, let's say, creativity in the very, very next exercise. As I want you to structure your own story. This practice would be more meaningful if if we had a chance to most probably speak up. You could have a chance to speak up. But I'm going to give you a chance now again to craft at least one part. You can at least talk about some past or present. I'm going to put in the chat here a Canva template. I'm not sure what I've posted here. Okay, it's posted. I think it's clickable, isn't it? Because when you click on it, you can copy your templates. There are 2 options per each, so you can definitely choose any. And so for talking about the past, future, and present, the other way around, past, present, and future, and pick any and make your own story. Again, if you want to, you can share it with us. I'll give you 30 seconds literally to make at least one piece, because you won't have time for more. Time is up. Take your time. Does anyone want to share the example? Copy paste it into the chat. You can do it anytime later as well. I mean, in the Q&A session and so on. So we can get back to it and extend the time a bit. But as the time is up, we are going to move to the very last pieces, which is the very last piece is about showing you what to start off when coaching your teammates on about self-presentations. Of course, you can send the link to this kind of training webinar as the introduction. But what you could ask yourselves first, and you could ask your mentees, which could most probably happen with them. Ask the very first question, which sets the right tone for improving self-presentations, is how do you feel when you have to introduce yourself to or talk about your work, your experience and achievements? Maybe you've got teammates. I'm not sure if you're most probably, yeah, you have teammates, you are HR consultants, HR team members. You most probably ask such a question: how people feel about a certain skill before asking them to do anything about it. But this is something that we definitely need to think about. And I've prepared here some sort of a summary for you, and something that could be a good starting point when coaching others, which is what makes so strong self-presentation strong. And just to sum up, the first thing, clarity. Unnecessary details or jargon don't help it. Confident but approachable, so as we've practiced today. Sounding short but with no arrogance, sounding confident at the same time, saying it in a pretty modest way but strong, that definitely makes a strong presentation strong. Self-presentation should be engaging. That's the definite thing. 3. What does it mean? Yeah, engaging means also talking about telling a story. That is definitely engaging, and you can easily use this structure of past, present, future. What makes this strong is powerful phrases instead of hesitant language, as we've looked at some. And relevance. Relevance is the key here, I think, because as at the very beginning of today's webinar, we looked at some examples tailored to different audiences. Relevance is something that makes you present yourself in the eyes of the other person as if you wanted to present yourself, as if you as you really think about yourself and you want to show your best. And that's it basically about it. The last question which I'm going to leave you with is, what's one change you will apply in your next meeting or introduction? Maybe you could share it in the screen. I mean, in the chat. I would be very much. We've got some example ready. Agatha, thank you. So I can imagine that you're taking out something about present and the past. Okay, right now I'm a software engineer at XXX company. So it's triple Twitter, yeah? Like the old one, triple Twitter company. We are developing a feature that helps our users discover better content while also driving improved financial results for the company. Sounds intriguing, honestly. Helps our users. Top secret, yeah, I can imagine it. Elon's new venture, again. It's always secret. All right, it sounds good. Yeah, I mean, we're developing a feature that helps our users discover. Anyone would like to share anything more about it? I mean, about this piece, or anyone would like to say what you're taking out of this 1 hour spent with me in a software way? Oh, geez, Magda, the other way around. You're saying that what? It's still too strong, too ostentatious, or what? Up. No, okay. I had the opportunity. All right. That's a piece. That's a good piece. If there are similar phrases, of course, I had the chance, and so on and so forth. Okay. Okay. As a wrap up, I'll encourage you and share with you, if I could, some idea what we do. I've just said it in the very beginning, but I wanted to show you, because this webinar is some sort of an introduction to some sorts of workshops that we run on a daily basis. Here we've got a few examples of these workshops, which we run for both teams, individuals. If you've ever wanted to come to us, find out more, you can consult your idea. We've got some workshops on, we call it English plus business skills, including presenting and pitching. running workshops, be it discovery workshops or different kinds of workshops, networking at events, negotiating terms and conditions, salary, negotiating scope of work, so different kinds of negotiation, client interview, if you work for clients directly, and job interviews, of course. And also some culture-specific communication workshops where we focus on meetings with Americans, with the British and the ones on the Arabian Peninsula. Yeah, so you're welcome to come to us and find out more if you'd like to, for your team and for yourselves. But if you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, again, here is a chance. You can find me as well by the name. I'm going to share with you as well something that doesn't cost you a thing apart from giving us your email, which is encourage you to sign up for a newsletter where we focus on business English in the context of tech companies mainly, where we provide, where you could simply be notified of any open formula workshops of different kinds as such, but also some pretty much neat lessons every second Friday, I think, where you've got ready-made lessons. You can work on that. And this is something unique, I think, because we really focus on, it's a great newsletter. Thank you very much for encouraging it. This is something unique because we focused really on details. People usually say this is something that goes deeper than business English, talking about trends and so on. We go deeper. We try to go into the detail, as there is nothing more like that on the market. All right, questions? The timing is all righty. If you've got any questions, ping me in here in chat, or you can speak up. If no, I'd like to thank you very much for coming to the webinar and having your attention for the 60 minutes. Hope your self-presentations will be slightly better, at least slightly. It takes some time to practice. I'm sure that these templates I hope you'll use them someday in the future, or maybe tomorrow, before any other encounters with people, with strangers, as part of your work. I think that's it, yeah?